Hey, good morning, friends. Today, my friends, is Tuesday, October the 25th, 2025, and the time now is 7:45 a.m. So, friends, today I want to talk about Donald Trump and the United States and Cyril Ramaphosa and South Africa. And I want to talk specifically about the G20 Summit, which just ended in South Africa. Friends, we all know over the past few days or during the weekend or so, South Africa hosted the G20 Summit, which basically was the first time for Africa. Now, we have to thank South Africa as Africans. South Africa has been pushing Africa forward. South Africa hosted the first World Cup on the African soil, and now South Africa has just hosted the first major international summit and or the first major G20 summit on the continent of Africa. And it was a success by far. Friends, we all know by now that when Donald Trump took over as the President of the United States in January of this year, 2025, he declared war against much of the rest of the world. He declared war against about 180 countries or so. In this case, we are talking about his tariff/trade war against the rest of the world. He had been attacking many leaders and countries around the world. He did attack South Africa, accusing South Africa of genociding white people, the white Afrikaners in Africa, in South Africa, which is nothing but lies. False, false, and more false. And he was caught on that, and basically he was humiliated. He was embarrassed because this is nothing but false. Recently, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, had threatened to attack Venezuela, and this is still on the table. And also, he threatened to bomb Nigeria over the so-called genocide against Christians. So basically, Donald Trump of the United States, who is here and there deporting people from the United States who are Christians because they are not white, now wants to go to Nigeria to bomb Nigeria to protect Christians, so-called. Now, to be honest, everything that Donald Trump is saying about Nigeria, trying to threaten Nigeria, it's not about Christians. Donald Trump doesn't care about Christian Americans, white Christian Americans, let alone black Christian Africans. This is about resources. It is about Nigeria turning to BRICS and to the rest of the world, okay, against the United States. This is about geopolitics. It has nothing to do with religion or Christian. However, religion and Christianity, okay, or Christians, will basically make Donald Trump's case look stronger to go after Nigeria. In this case, going after Venezuela, Donald Trump doesn't have that much argument. But if he phrases it that there are Christians being killed in Nigeria and there is a Christian genocide in Nigeria, even though it is wrong and it is false, his case will be or could be much stronger. Now, friends, Donald Trump accused South Africa of genociding white people, which is nothing but false. And there has been push and pull between the United States and South Africa. And Donald Trump has threatened to boycott the G20 summit. In fact, recently, he not only disrespected South Africa, but he also charged that South Africa has no reason, no rights to be a member of the G20 group or to even host the summit. The United States boycott the G20 summit. Now, the G20 summit was a success. During the summit, the African Union was present at the summit, the EU was present, African countries were present, and other international institutions were present as well. Also, the other G20 countries were all present. Of course, the president of China, Xi Jinping, did not attend the summit. However, the Chinese premier attended the summit. Now, friends, one other leader did not attend the summit. And in this case, we are talking about the president of Argentina, Javier Milei. He did not attend. However, his finance minister did attend the summit. In addition, Donald Trump of the United States had boycotted the summit. He did not attend the summit and also did not send any lower ranking official to the summit, or at least to the end of things. At one point during a press conference, the president of South Africa spoke when he addressed the press. He did stated that no country should be bullying other country because of they are big and powerful and mighty and the other countries are small and powerless. That there should be an equality and fairness in international order, in international relations. When he stated that, he was attacked, basically disrespected by the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. Now, at some point, Caroline Leavitt, when she was asked by a member of the press in the United States, in the White House, that there had been a confirmation or a statement by the president of South Africa that the United States was thinking to re-engage with the G20 Summit and to send a lower-ranking member of the U.S. government to attend the summit. The president of South Africa stated that. When Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, was asked for clarification, she basically disrespected Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, stating that they heard, or she heard, the United States heard the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, running his mouth a little bit.
I'm calling on Bloomberg. Go ahead.
Caroline, thank you. Two questions for you. The New York Times is reporting that the administration is now sending a U.S. official to the G20. They're sending Mark Dillard. Can you confirm if that is true, and then also explain the shift in?
I'd be happy to explain, because there is not a shift. The United States is not participating in official talks at the G20 in South Africa. I saw the South African president running his mouth a little bit against the United States and the president of the United States earlier today, and that language is not appreciated by the president or his team. The ambassador, or the representative of the embassy in South Africa, is simply there to recognize that the United States will be the host of the G20. They are receiving that send-off at the end of the event. They are not there to participate in official talks, despite what the South African president is falsely claiming.
Friends, that is not how you talk about or talk to the head of state of another country, especially when you are a nobody, a 28 years old nobody, a press secretary. I made a video recently in which I stated that what Caroline Leavitt said, what she said about the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, did not just come out of her mouth. It was a calculated statement. Now, she doesn't have any right, any power to make policy in the U.S. government. However, because she is the press secretary of the White House, the spokesperson of the White House, I believe, and I believe it is certain, that she is present at many meetings because she had to get some details in that she's going to be able to address the press. So I do believe she attended a meeting in the Situation Room where she heard Donald Trump and or other members, high-ranking members of the U.S. government, disrespecting or saying negative things or speaking in such manner as Caroline Leavitt spoke about or of the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. So what Caroline Leavitt said did not just come out of nowhere. She had heard it spoken about Cyril Ramaphosa in such manner. It is also said that at the end, the U.S. government, the White House, sent some lower-ranking officials, and that they were not permitted to attend the summit. At the end, they were blocked. Now, in terms of the G20 summit, it was a success, and Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa was able to get the other 20 countries and institutions to sign a memorandum. And this memorandum or agreement was signed. It was a success, even though Donald Trump did not attend. Now, I've heard many prominent observers and scholars or thinkers on international relations and on the various topics or issues of international relations, saying that it was also a success, the summit, because Donald Trump did not attend. And that had he attended the summit, he would have made the summit all about himself, and basically obstruct many of the policy that South Africa, the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, would have wanted to push forward. So that could be the truth, but I also do believe it is the truth. Now, friends, as protocol has it, or as protocol should have had it, the president of South Africa, as he closed the summit, as he banged on the gavel, that is the wooden hammer thing, the gavel, he should have passed on the presidency to the president of the United States, to the United States. However, due to the fact that Donald Trump skipped or boycotted or did not attend the G20 Summit in South Africa, whichever phrase you want to use, the presidency should not or could not have been passed by Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa in a diplomatic manner. The summit was closed by Cyril Ramaphosa. He basically banged the gavel on the table or so and closed the summit. Now, because the United States president and or the United States was not present at the summit, Cyril Ramaphosa, as I said a couple of seconds ago, could not have passed on the presidency to the United States or the gavel to the United States, which is supposed to be the next host of the G20 Summit. However, now there is being made between the two countries a deal, a diplomatic effort to get the presidency and the gavel passed on to the United States. It is said that the United States is going to appoint or send lower ranking or junior officials to South Africa so that the ceremony could be held or had, and that the presidency and the gavel to be passed on to the United States. However, South Africa is saying that if the United States want the gavel, Donald Trump will have to go to South Africa and that the presidency will be passed on with the ceremony. But if the United States send a junior or a lower ranking officials, then South Africa will do the same. South Africa will appoint an equivalent official to initiate the ceremony so that the gavel can be passed on. So this is a very interesting thing. Now, in terms of South Africa's president being able to carry out a diplomatic maneuver and getting a lot passed at the summit, I do believe part of the progress or the success of South African president and South Africa is that many of the countries, or all of these countries at the summit, they are basically tired of Donald Trump's nonsense. We have to acknowledge the fact that the United States, being the most powerful country in the world, does have power and the might and the prestige to be able to maneuver its way and basically bully other countries. It is happening behind closed doors. However, friends, Donald Trump, because of his foolishness, he is bullying other countries and leaders in broad daylight publicly. I do believe that other leaders decided to attend the summit, basically support South Africa's policy or South Africa's memorandum, and make the summit a success as a means to protest Donald Trump, because they do not want to look weak or be bullied by Donald Trump and the United States. Of course, these leaders wanted a successful summit, the first to be held on the African continent. They do not want to disrespect Africa and a country such as South Africa, so they have to attend. It is also a diplomatic photo op for them. But in light of what Donald Trump is doing, these leaders and countries do not or did not want to be seen as being bullied by the United States and Donald Trump. Now, the United States and Donald Trump are going to be hosting the G20 Summit next year. And I do believe there is going to be other controversies. Donald Trump and the United States will go to a length to try to disrespect South Africa and Cyril Ramaphosa. I also believe that they probably will not want South Africa and Cyril Ramaphosa to be attending the G20 Summit in the United States next year. Now, friends, please tell me what you think, and I really want to know what you think. However, friends, I am going to end here. I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community, my friends. But most especially and most importantly, or most important, my friends, I want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace, my friends. Peace.